Let me talk to you about how to get a business loan with little to no credit history. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I'm going to quickly talk to you about how to get a business loan with little to no credit history. Number one, you need to understand no credit check business loans. Your small business could get a no credit check loan if your business has little to no credit history, or you personally have little to no credit history. The thing here is that most business loans require a personal guarantee, and they will rely not only on your business credit, but also on your personal credit to secure approval and terms. So if you have little to no credit, your options for business loans may be limited to lenders that consider factors other than your business and personal credit. What are those factors now? With a traditional business loan, lenders evaluate what we call in our research the 5 C's of credit. So capacity, capital, character, collateral, and conditions. And so these factors give lenders a framework for understanding your creditworthiness. And one thing you have to understand here is that there is a minimum credit score for a small business loan. And usually, according to research, it's around 650 to 680 when we're talking about a FICO credit score. For a Vantage score, it's around 600. It's around the same levels. Now, there are loans that have higher or lower requirements. This is why you want to be very strategic and actually focus on a specific type of lenders. Here, I'm referring to alternative lenders, because alternative lenders, such as the peer-to-peer lending sites or other online lenders, they will work with lower credit scores. They will work with entrepreneurs who have no credit scores. So if you want a business loan, remember that you need to go to the right category of lender. Your personal credit score is partly based on your credit habits. So this includes your payment history, your debt compared with your total credit limits, and how often you apply for credit. Those alternative lenders will pay attention to that, but also other things. And remember that business credit scores are different from personal credit scores, because business credit scores tend to focus on payment history. The size of your company, your relationships with vendors, and your industry may affect your credit score. And these scores have a different range from FICO scores, which go from 300 to 850. The Dun & Bradstreet Paydex business credit score, for instance, ranges from 1 to 100. And the one thing you have to understand, if you go with a no credit check business loan, in other words, if you are looking for a business loan with little to no credit history, just be prepared that you might be paying a little more in terms of APR, origination fees, and other types of fees. It just comes with the territory, because the lenders are seeing you as a risky proposition, as a risky borrower. So, step number 1, understand no credit check business loans. Step number 2, I want you to have a clear understanding of business loan requirements. Whether you're looking for a business loan with little to no credit history or a business loan with fair or good credit, you still need to understand the standard business loan requirements. What are those? You have about 20. You have to really, whenever a lender looks at your application, they want to pay attention to the time that you've been in business. Are you a new business? Are you a startup? Are you an established company? They look at your personal credit score, the personal credit score of the founder or founders, all the founders. They look at the business credit score. I already spoke about that, whether it is from 1 to 100. If we are looking at the Dun & Bradstreet Paydex score, they want to look at your annual business revenue and profits. Your bank statements, the business bank statements. Here we are referring to the business bank statements. They also pay attention to personal and business tax returns. And usually they want to go back to the last 3 years. And or sometimes some lenders might ask for 5 years, depending on the amount you want to borrow. And Clearly, they want to understand the loan purpose. Are you trying to expand your business? Are you trying to use the loan for working capital? Are you trying to pay a supplier? Are you trying to pay a significant supplier? Is your business cyclical? Are you in a seasonal trend right now and you need some cash to sort of ramp up production? You also need to mention the desired loan amounts. Very important. If you talk about the loan purpose, you need to talk about the loan amount. You want to have a business plan. You want to have a business plan that elaborates on your company's mission, vision, your products and services, the competitive landscape you are evolving in. You want to mention financials, very important financial statements, your company's balance sheets, your company's income statement, your company's statement of cash flows, your company's ownership structure that will be indicated in the statement of owner's equity. You also want to mention the industry, right? Very critical. You need to mention the entity type. Are you an LLC? Are you a S corporation? Are you a C corporation? Are you a sole proprietorship? Really, it doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what kind of a business entity you are. As a sole proprietorship, you can still get a business loan. The only thing is, the higher the loan amount, the more structured lenders wants to see your business. They want your business to be a real corporation, a real business, an LLC, a C corp, an S corp. You need to mention whether you have business licenses and permits, your EIN, this is your employer identification number, this is your tax ID number you get from the IRS. If you have any proof of collateral, if you want to get a business loan with little to no credit history, be prepared to post collateral. You need to mention your balance sheet, you need to mention copy of your commercial lease, disclosure of other debts that you may have, accounts receivable and accounts payable agent, ownership and affiliation, and legal contracts and agreements. If you want to get a business loan with little to no credit history, be prepared, and that's our third step here, to show strong business cash flows. Very important. And you need a financial statement called the statement of cash flows. This statement shows three categories. So you have cash flows from operating activities, cash flows from investing activities, and cash flows from financing activities. This is very critical for a lender, because a lender wants to understand that you have sufficient money coming into the business, that the business is generating enough cash to repay the loan, because you have to put yourself in a lender's mindset. They want to make sure that they will be repaid. It's not about how long you've been in business. It's not about your industry. It's not about whether you have a little credit history or no credit history or fantastic credit history. It's all about, are you generating enough cash right now, or would you be generating enough cash over the term of the loan to repay the loan? That's all they care about. You can have a 95 PAYDEX, Dun & Bradstreet PAYDEX score. In other words, you have excellent business credit, but if you're not generating cash or you're having difficulty right now, the lender might just run away from you, right? So very important to show strong business cash flows. You can also prepare, you can have your accountant prepare sales projections for the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. The whole idea here is to show the lender that you are financially set, you are financially strong. If you have applied for a business loan before, or at least looked into it, you likely know that small business lenders often reject candidates who don't have a cushy bank account to back up their applications. But if you need to get a business loan with no money, you need to understand why lenders care about cash flow in the first place. At the most basic level, cash flow indicates the health of your business. Positive cash flow means there is more money heading in your direction, and a negative cash flow often means a business is struggling. Of course, you care most about your cash flow in terms of how it will affect your day-to-day operations. But as soon as you land in the small business financing market, your solvency is important to lenders as well. How do lenders determine whether they feel comfortable extending you a loan? In large part, by investigating your cash flows. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I hope you are still with us here. We are having a quick conversation about how to get a business loan with little to no credit history. Now, step number four. So, folks, step number one, You need to understand no credit check business loans. Number two, you need to know business loan requirements. Number three, you want to show strong business cash flows. Number four, you want to consider the best no credit check business loans. So if you're hoping to skirt a down payment requirement, or you have a business that has little to no credit history and you're looking for a loan, remember you have lots of financing options. You have term loans, you have a business lines of credit, you have invoice financing, SBA micro loans, equipment loans, no fee business cards. Okay, let's dig a little deeper here. Term loans, everybody understands. So term loans are the most common type of loan on the lending market, right? They don't require a down payment to secure. However, there is a chance that you'll need to put up collateral to secure a term loan, especially if you have little to no credit history. And what about business lines of credit? Now, this is kind of cool too, because the whole idea here is to relieve cash flow issues. In other words, you have access to a certain amount of cash, and you can tap into that, and you can repay it based on the agreement you have with your lender. You can also think about invoice financing. So like a business line of credit, invoice financing is a quick way for businesses to free up a stagnant cash flow, and it requires no down payment to secure. It doesn't even require to have little credit history or no credit history. In this instance, though, you will release the cash that's currently tied up in your client's unpaid invoices by actually selling those invoices to a lender. That's how it works. And that lender will usually front you cash in the amount of about 85 to 90% of your chosen outstanding invoices. And the lender will also charge fees on the remaining 15%. So you will receive that 15% of your cash when your customers fulfill their payments. And you can also have, you can think about SBA loans or SBA microloans. The SBA, the Small Business Administration, has a constellation of loan options out there, from the SBA 7A loan to the SBA CDC/504 loan. You also have microloans. Those are loans that are kind of small in amounts, up to $50,000. Think about equipment loans too. They may or may not require a down payment or even credit history. So basically, if your quote is approved, an equipment financing company will front you up to 100% of the cash you need to purchase a piece of equipment, and they'll use the equipment they are financing as collateral in case your business defaults. And that inherent guarantee of debt reconciliation makes equipment loans less risky for lenders. So it's usually easier for borrowers to be approved for this type of loans than others, especially if the business has little to no credit history. You might also want to think about the no-fee business credit cards. This can also, there are credit card companies out there that will approve you for a business credit card, even if you have a little to no credit history, and you can use the money as quote-unquote a loan to finance your working capital or to finance your operations. Step number 5. This is very important. I want you to find the best lenders for business loans with little to no credit history. And there are plenty of them there, but we have found four for you that you might want to consider. First, we have here PayPal working capital loan, and this is great for a payment process. So to be eligible for a PayPal working capital loan, you must have a PayPal business or Premier account for at least 3 months, and business account holders must process at least $15,000 annually, while Premier account holders must process at least $20,000 annually. And we also have First American Merchant. This is for merchant cash advance. This is a kind of cool company, and this is a great way to secure a credit check free loan. And this is for MCA, of course. So to be eligible for a merchant cash advance through First American Merchant, you will need to be in business for at least 6 months, have at least $10,000 in gross monthly deposits, and have less than 3 insufficient funds events in your account per month. Additionally, you or the applicant must be willing to undergo a background check in which First American Merchant will verify that you meet their requirements, including the absence of criminal charges or felonies. And one thing I want to say here is that this is very important, because you're able to know exactly where you stand in terms of the fees. Now, let's talk about the fees for PayPal working capital. borrowers can take out a loan for up to 35% of their total annual PayPal revenue with the 120,000 limit between your first two loans. And eligible borrowers will pay a single fixed fee that is determined prior to accepting the loan, and there are no additional interest payments or fees. The fixed fee is on the loan total and your PayPal sales history, and the selected repayment percentage, which is the percentage of each sale deducted and paid towards your loan. Okay, and for a First American merchant, the rates and fees, all advances are subject to a factor rate, which is typically between 6% and 50%. For example, a loan with a 45% factor rate on a $10,000 will result in a final repayment amount of $14,500. So those choosing a no credit check advance will likely be subject to a higher fee. So this is something you have to think about. I also want to talk to you about Bluevine. Bluevine is a great option you want to consider if you are interested in invoice factoring. That way, you can get a business loan with little to no credit history. If you are a corporation and not a sole proprietorship, then you may be interested in Bluevine's invoice factoring products, which allows you to leverage outstanding invoices. Bluevine does not run a soft credit inquiry, so they will check your credit, but it's really not as important for them because the invoices, the accounts receivable, will constitute the collateral. So eligible applicants can borrow up to $5 million, though the requirements and application process varies for lines of credit over $250,000. Therefore, anyone seeking to borrow more than that should contact Bluevine directly for additional information. And in terms of rates and fees, it really varies. Those rates vary. Borrowers can expect an APR between 15% and 68%, as well as a weekly fee between 0.25% and 1.1%. Okay, and you can also think about Indiegogo in terms of crowdfunding. And Indiegogo actually is a very popular entrepreneurial crowdfunding platform that has helped many businesses or projects reach their goals. Here, we're not talking about, it's not technically a loan, really. It's more you are raising equity, and you actually are giving your supporters equity shares of equity, common stock in your business, or product gifts. That way, you're not really settled by debt afterwards. If you can have a captivating sales pitch, you can have a video or something that explains your business, you can go to Indiegogo. Actually, there are several crowdfunding platforms out there. You also have a Kickstarter, but today we're showing you an Indiegogo. And basically with Indiegogo, what you do here is that there are technically no limits to your funding goals. You set the required amounts. The catch is that you must cultivate a loyal community of backers, or those who chose to invest in your product. So for that reason, this is considered an active form of financing, because you can't just fill out some paperwork and sit back. All right. And one thing you need to do here, you need to think about, is that in terms of rates and fees, pre-launch activities on Indiegogo are free, but once you begin your crowdfunding campaign, you'll have to pay 5% of the total earned in the form of a platform fee, and then 3% plus 30 cents for third-party credit. Other platforms that are worth considering when it comes to reaching money to actually raising cash. And if you want to get a business loan with little to no credit history, you might want to consider Street Shares and Lendio. Those are P2P lending websites that cater to small businesses that have no to little credit history. Number 6, folks, I want you to look beyond no credit check business loans. So do not assume that a business loan requiring a credit check isn't open to you just because you have bad credit, or you have little credit, or you have no credit. You might be able to qualify for bad credit business loans, including fixed rate loans. Of course, the thing here is that when we speak about business loans with little to no credit history, or even bad credit, you might be paying more in interest charges and fees than someone with good credit or a stellar credit. But if neither bad credit, little credit, or no credit business loans nor alternative business financing appeals to you, you can explore other ways to fund your business. So those includes, you have personal loans for little to no credit history. You have secured and unsecured small business credit cards, right? This is an important element to you can use. You can think about secured and unsecured personal credit cards. You can even get loans from friends and family members. If you have an entourage that is wealthy, or that can connect you with people who are wealthy, you want to tap into that. Tap into your entourage. Think about equity financing. This is not a financing option here in terms of getting a loan, but you can have outside investors coming into your business, and of course crowdfunding. Now each option has benefits and drawbacks. All right. One benefit is that qualifying for a personal loan, line of credit, or credit card may be easier than a traditional business loan. Think about it. If the business has little to no credit history, and you yourself you have stellar credit, then go the personal route. One thing I want to say though, that you don't want to commingle personal and business finances, because that could be problematic. So because if you default on the loan, if God forbid you default on the loan, your personal credit will take a hit, and you would be personally responsible for repaying the debt. Equity financing and borrowing from friends and family members also have their ups and downs. The latter gets tricky if you can't pay back the money. With equity financing, you ask investors to back your business, and in exchange, they receive an ownership stake in it. You don't have to repay any money to those investors, but you're actually trading off some control of your business. Crowdfunding platforms, as I said earlier, such as Indiegogo and Kickstarter, they can help your business get financing if you don't want to turn to investors, friends, or family members. And there are also some quote-unquote non-profit crowdfunding websites. So you have a Kiwi, for example. You also have Accion, Accion. Okay, this is kind of cool. On those websites, such as Accion, Kiwi, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, backers accept rewards as repayment for investment rather than money. So you run your startup that needs capital to manufacture an innovative reusable water bottle. You would give backers sample products. Let me give you a pro tip before actually closing today's conversation. How can you work on improving your credit score? Obviously, if your business has little to no credit history, that's because either the business itself has little to no credit history, or you as the founder have a little to no credit history. There are several ways to improve either credit score. You want to pay bills on time each month, again, at the personal level and at the business level. You want to maintain low balances on your credit cards or other loans, again, at the business level or personal level. You want to keep older credit accounts open. You want to limit how often you apply for credit. The best way to build business credit scores is by paying your bills on time and by maintaining good relationships with your vendors and suppliers. You want to try to fix your score before you apply for a loan. If that's not possible, then take the minimum amount from an alternative lender while you work on your score. That way, you can refinance or get an additional loan at a better rate later. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I want to really thank you for your attention. So I was talking to you about how to get a business loan with little to no credit. Number one, understand no credit check business loans. Number two, you need to know business loan requirements. Number three, you want to show strong business cash flows. Number four, you want to consider the best no credit check business loans. Number five, you want to find the best lenders. Number six, look beyond no credit check business loans. And I give you a couple of tips on how to improve your business credit score. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.